God frequency, this is Hyptoria, hypnotizing you to manifest. Most people try to manifest their reality without realizing they're always manifesting, but it's their unconscious frequency, not their intentions, that speaks the loudest. You are not waiting for anything. You are not chasing anything. You are emitting, right now. Think of life not as something happening to you, but something echoing from within you. The outer world is not a stage filled with surprise actors. It is your own vibration dressed in form. What you call reality is not the main cause. It is the result. Like a faint echo returning from a canyon, it returns to you in the shape and tone of what you transmitted first. Before any external thing appeared, there was vibration. Before form, there was frequency. Before you were even aware of your body, your thoughts, your name, there was awareness itself. The still humming current of I am flowed through everything and into you. It was not given, it simply was. The breath before words. This is what we call the God frequency. Lesson 1. The signal behind all things. Listen closely. Can you feel it? That quiet knowing that nothing is random? That truth, stronger than logic, but softer than thought? That recognizes your life is not reacting to actions, but aligning with energy? All of creation moves to a pulse. It is not chaos, it is current. And you, beloved, are a transmitter of that current. When you believe you are separate from it, life feels loud, disconnected, confusing. But when you begin to hear the still hum behind every moment, the subtle rhythm that never wavers, you start to sync with the divine. It is not a loud voice. God does not shout. It is stillness. It is silence charged with power. You don't hear it with your ears. You feel it with your being. It's the awareness behind your thoughts, the presence observing your emotions, the consciousness that exists even when the mind is still. Most people are stuck in static, fear, logic, noise, trying to control the effect without touching the cause. They spin affirmations like dials, hoping to change the channel of their life without changing the frequency behind their state. They believe they are manipulating outcomes, when in truth they are simply reacting, broadcasting doubt, worry, and disbelief, and receiving more of the same. You do not fix the static by yelling over it. You fix the static by tuning in. Picture a radio. You can't see the airwaves. You don't argue with the static. You have to move the dial slowly, feeling your way through the frequencies until the sound comes in clear. You don't force it. You align with it. The station is already there, but your job is to match your setting until it sings. This is the signal behind all things, and it begins with identity. You are not the effect. You are the cause. You are not here to receive reality like weather, unpredictable and moody. You are the one who sets the climate. Before there is thunder in the world, there is a storm in the soul. Before there is sunshine in your life, there is joy within your field. The world bends to match your temperature, not your wish. Now, pause, listen for it, not the voice in your head, the one beneath it, the watcher, the awareness, the still witness under your spinning thoughts. This is the true you, the real I am, the signal of all signals, the soundless sound of God recognizing itself inside you. For a moment, stop trying to think your way to peace. Just breathe. Can you feel the presence behind the thought? That weightless hum that says, I have always been. That silent power that dwells in your stillness, not in your striving. This is your first transmission, not to the universe, but from it, through it, as it. The God frequency is not something you beg for. It is not reserved for the most spiritual, the most righteous, or the most informed. It has no favorites. It simply obeys the tone of your being. It always has. Every moment of your life has occurred within it. Every love, every loss, every desire, all aligned with what you were emitting, knowingly or unknowingly. There is great responsibility in this truth, but even greater liberation. Because if your frequency has created your past, it can create again, right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to earn. You don't have to be more worthy. You are already broadcasting. The only question is, which signal are you sending? Let this lesson open the gate. The hum is ready. The signal is clear. Now, tune in. Lesson 2, I am, the divine broadcast within you. There is a name you have been speaking your whole life without truly knowing its power. A phrase that precedes every declaration, every desire, every complaint, every hope. Two words that are not merely words, but keys, not affirmations, activations. This name is not outside of you, waiting to be praised. It rises from you, it moves with you, it shapes the air around you, and it's this: I am. Before anything was spoken into existence, there was awareness, and before any form could emerge from the void, that awareness had to know itself. I am is not the beginning of ego, it is the beginning of creation. It is not arrogance, it is alignment with the source that breathes universes into being. To say I am is not just to make a statement, it is to issue a command to the unseen substance of reality. It's how your soul communicates with the divine mechanism beneath all form. This is why what you attach to I am comes looking for you. Not because the universe is judging you, punishing you, or rewarding you, but because it's listening. It's only ever responding to what you declare as real through identity. Most people treat I am like a wish, something they hope will be true in the future. I am becoming successful. I am trying to heal. But the God frequency does not deal in delay. It does not traffic in future tense. It responds only to what you broadcast now. And when you say, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am worthy, not as a performance, but as a knowing, the frequency shifts. It must. Because the signal now matches the substance of the desire. Desire is not a request, it is a direction. Your desire is a memory of who you already are in the unseen. And I am is how that memory becomes matter. This is why repeating I am statements mindlessly does not always yield results. The God frequency doesn't respond to empty words. It responds to felt truth. When you declare, I am, the feeling behind it is what carries the signal. If you whisper, I am joyful, but internally feel anxious, the static drowns out your words. But if you breathe, pause, and allow the feeling of joy to rise before you speak, now the signal is clean. Now you are broadcasting on the channel of creation itself. When Moses asked God, "Who shall I say sent me?" the answer was, I am that I am. This wasn't just a name, it was a blueprint, a compass for walking in divine authority. God did not say, I will be. He did not say, I might be. He said, I am. That is not a description, it is the cause. And so, when you say I am, you are not pretending to be something you're not. You are remembering who you've always been. There is no power in the world stronger than your identity. What you believe you are, you become. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you embody. And embodiment begins with claiming, I am already. This is the shift. You stop asking for change and begin becoming the change. You no longer speak as the one waiting. You speak as the one who is. You let go of needing the outer world to confirm you because your frequency seals it. And that frequency, once embodied, bends reality toward itself, always. Every spiritual revolution begins with I am. Every transformation, every healing, every miracle starts when you stop looking for power outside of you and finally, fully claim the truth within. So today, become intentional with the name you are broadcasting. Refuse to let fear hijack your frequency with silent declarations like, I am stuck, I am not enough, I am afraid. Even in passing thoughts, this signal is shaping your world. Interrupt it. Replace it. Not with force, but with presence. Begin declaring with identity, not with yearning. Instead of saying, I want to be aligned, shift to, I am aligned. Instead of whispering, I hope I get chosen, say, I am chosen. Not as wishful thinking, but as divine decree. Because when you speak from I am, you're not hoping reality turns in your favor. You are commanding it from your center. Feel the shift. Feel the sacred simplicity. Let the new frequency rise through your words. I am whole. I am guided. I am wealth in motion. I am the one I've been seeking. This is not imagination, it is transmission. Because when you say I am clearly, calmly, confidently, all of creation hears it. And it answers back, yes, you are. Lesson 3, tuning out the static of the world. There is a quiet in you that remembers everything, a still place beneath all your thoughts, untouched by past, future, or fear. Most people never find it, not because it's hidden, but because the noise is too loud. They're drowning in static, and static feels normal when everyone around you is tuned to the same interference. But you are remembering another signal. The world is always broadcasting. It plays 1,000 channels at once. The voice of doubt, the logic of limitation, the breaking news of fear. And each message pulls you out of your center and into separation, into reacting, analyzing, rushing, proving. You begin to take the noise as truth, the distraction as direction. You start believing that peace must be earned and alignment must be worked for. But it was never effort you needed. It was silence. Tuning out the static of the world is not about hiding from life. It's about reclaiming the volume dial of your soul. You are not meant to absorb every opinion, every fear, every projection. You are a frequency, not a sponge. Yet most people walk around like open receivers, downloading every thought that isn't theirs and wondering why they feel anxious, scattered, heavy. It's because they forgot to guard the gate of signal. The God frequency is still broadcasting. It has never stopped, but it does not compete with noise. It speaks in whispers to those who are willing to listen, not just with their ears, but with their being. And listening starts by turning the world down, not turning it off. The world will always swirl, but you are not here to be swept away. You are here to anchor. Some of the loudest static wears the mask of realism. Be practical, be reasonable, be safe. These whispers are often given to us by well-meaning voices, family, friends, even mentors. But you were not born to repeat patterns. You were born to remember the signal that created all patterns. Logic, while useful, is not leadership. It can only calculate what has been. But the God frequency is not interested in the past. It's interested in the possible. The more you tune into the world, the less you can hear yourself. And self, your true I am, is the origin of your power. It's the divine broadcaster within you. When you are constantly scrolling, listening, talking, reacting, your attention fragments. You cease to create reality and begin to copy it. But remember, you are not a mirror. You are the source of reflection. If you want life to feel divine again, you must be willing to leave the noise long enough to hear what God has been whispering to you all along. You don't need to do more. You need to hear me more. Your sacred space is not just your meditation corner. It is your moment-by-moment choice to remain in signal. It's the way you walk down the street without needing to absorb everyone's energy. It's the way you scroll your feed and remain untouched by comparison or fear. It's the decision to unfollow what no longer aligns, not out of hate, but out of holiness. You begin to curate your input not as control, but as love. You begin to ask, does this amplify God in me, or dim it? To stay in signal is to become intentional with everything that touches your awareness. Every conversation, every sound, every digital glance. It all feeds the field of your vibration. You're not going to reach the God frequency while tuning into chaos all day long. This doesn't mean you reject the world. It means you become the calm center of it. You carry silence into every room you walk into, and people will feel it. The stillness of your essence will be louder than any voice in the room. And here is the miracle. The more static you clear, the louder the signal becomes. Not loud in volume, but in undeniability. You begin to feel the truth instead of analyze it. You begin to recognize when something is aligned without needing to explain why. That is the intelligence of the divine. It doesn't need to defend itself. It simply is. You were born with this inner compass. Clarity isn't something you earn, it's something you uncover. Beneath the layers of noise, confusion, opinions, and past conditioning, clarity lives. And clarity doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It waits for the moment you remember that peace is not a reward. It's your home frequency. You have never been far from the signal. You've only been tuned into a frequency that isn't yours. That changes now. Not by effort, but by returning. Close your eyes, breathe, feel for the hum beneath the noise. There it is. The sacred rhythm beneath thought. The quiet returning of I am. You don't have to figure it all out. You only need to get still enough to feel the frequency again. The world will keep broadcasting, but now, so will you. Lesson 4, the feeling of the fulfilled frequency. Close your eyes just for a moment. Imagine the version of you who already has it all. The wealth, the love, the freedom, the peace, the expansion. Whatever you've been reaching for, longing for, scripting and journaling and praying for. Imagine it is already fulfilled, done, sealed in heaven. Now, breathe from that version of yourself. This is not imagination for fun. This is frequency tuning. The mind likes words, logic, proof. The heart speaks in vibration. And the universe? It only listens to the heart, to enter the God. Frequency is to move beyond thought into feeling. You do not attract what you think, you attract what you are. And what you are is felt more than it is spoken. The feeling of "it is done" is a magnetic force more powerful than 1,000 affirmations. Thought is useful, but feeling is causation. So much of the world tries to create from emptiness. They visualize their dream life, but feel their current lack. They speak abundance, but feel fear. They say, "I believe," but carry an undertone of doubt. In this split vibrational state, the signal becomes fuzzy, static-filled. The request is confused. You cannot trick the frequency. You may speak wealth, but if you feel unworthy, the God frequency only echoes back the truth of the feeling. Neville Goddard said, "Feeling is the secret, not the words, not the effort, not the force. You must dwell in the experience of your wish fulfilled, not someday, not when it makes sense. Now. The divine timing is now, always now." The God frequency does not ask for perfect feelings. It asks for authentic alignment. It does not respond to begging, but to being. And being is practiced in the rich, vivid inner landscape. It means rehearsing the vibration of fulfillment until it becomes muscle memory. It means falling so in love with the feeling of your prayer fulfilled that you forget to doubt it. You forget to notice the world hasn't caught up yet. Because guess what? It's not behind you. It's just catching your new signal. Your job is not to beg reality to morph for you. Your job is to become the version of yourself that reality has no choice but to mirror. It's not about waiting for the world to give you a reason to feel rich, loved, chosen, successful. It's about realizing you are that reason. You are the source signal behind your entire experience. You are the cause, not the condition. This is why it's not about trying to feel good 24/7. That's not what fulfilled frequency is. It's about choosing your dominant state. You can feel grief and still know who you are. You can face challenges and still dwell in "I am." Feeling fulfilled is not pretending. It is remembering the divine truth of your being, even in the darkest room. So, how do you activate the feeling of the fulfilled frequency? You shift from asking, "When will it happen?" to "How would I feel if it already had?" This single question breaks the shackles of waiting and snaps you into vibration. You're no longer seeking signals from the outside, you're generating them. And the side effect? Reality adjusts. Not because magic dust fell, but because you finally stopped contradicting your desire with your identity. When you imagine, don't just see it, don't just say it. Breathe as the version of you who lives there. Feel the cushion of the life you've been dreaming of. Taste it. Smell the new air. Speak with that tone in your voice, the tone of someone who doesn't wonder if it will work because they know they already are it. You see, thought informs, feeling performs. Embodiment is the strongest prayer. This practice isn't about escaping the present. It's about saturating it with who you really are. The future you is not a concept. It is a vibration ready to be tuned into. It's not far away. It's happening now, elsewhere in consciousness. And it becomes flesh when the signal becomes strong enough. That's why your feelings matter more than your effort. The God frequency is not built by hustle. It is transmitted through recognition. So, feel on purpose. Feel deeply. Feel fully. Because feeling is the instruction code your reality follows. Bring that future feeling into the now. Not because you're pretending, but because you're remembering. You're not asking anymore. You're feeling it because it's done. And because it's done, it must become. Lesson 5, consciousness is the cause, not the reaction. You've been taught to wait, to see, and then believe, to observe life and let it decide how you feel. A good day makes you smile, a bad day breaks you, But what if everything you've ever reacted to was actually reacting to you? What if the circumstances you thought were the cause of your emotions were only ever the echo of an old frequency? Consciousness is the original cause, always. It is the source, the creator, the projector. And it's not personal, it's vibrational. Your outer world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Every moment is the delayed printout of your consciousness, not your fleeting wishes, but your sustained assumptions, your felt identity, your dominant vibration. You walk around feeling certain truths about money, about love, about your body, and then you receive them in form. You may think, I feel this way because of what I see, but look closer. The moment you accepted a belief, your world began to obey it. Your consciousness made it real. This is not metaphor. This is physics of the soul. A person who truly feels rich, not just thinks rich, not just wants rich, but knows in their quiet, deep being that richness is who they are, will inevitably walk into a world that mirrors that truth. Not because fate rewarded them, but because frequency responded to them. The law doesn't judge, it translates. And the most revolutionary shift you can make is to step out of reaction and into creation. We've confused observation with reality. But reality is not what's observed, it's what's broadcast from within. To react to life is to forget you authored it. To create from consciousness is to remember your divinity. Pause now. Breathe. What if nothing out there has power over you unless you give it permission? What if the moment you shift within, the world has no choice but to rearrange? Face a challenge, and instead of collapsing into fear or complaint, flip the script in real time. Declare, this too is responding to me, and I no longer vibrate at the frequency of this problem. I am already the solution in flesh. The external world is slow, it moves like clay, but consciousness, quick, light, instant. When you get ahead in vibration, before the evidence shows up, you are living on the mountaintop. You don't climb the mountain to find God. You raise your consciousness to remember you are God, the cause, never the effect. Every time you say, I feel this because of that, you're giving your power to the illusion. But when you say, that is because I felt this, you take authority over your experience. This does not mean you ignore your feelings, but it does mean you learn the difference between emotional reaction and conscious creation. You no longer ask the world for permission to feel abundant. You feel abundant, and the world conforms. You don't wait to be loved to feel lovable. You embody love, and the actors of your life reflect that script. This is why people can change everything, without trying to change the outside at all. They shift subtly but absolutely, from victim to creator, from question to knowing, from desire to fulfillment. And in return, the mirror of life alters without force. Consciousness does not beg. It does not chase. It does not beg the universe to fix what it has simply forgotten it created. Consciousness remembers, and remembering is the most powerful act in existence. This remembrance, I am before the form. I am before the circumstance. I am the seed, not the soil. You were not sent here to react to a pre-written world. You are the writer. You speak and it moves. You feel and it listens. So what will you echo into the field today? Will you echo doubt, waiting, hoping, scattered questions? Or will you whisper into creation a frequency of confidence, fulfillment, and rest? Not because of what you see, but because of who you are. This is the quiet power you've always had, not in force, not in drama, but in stillness. The I am within you never reacts. It decides, it vibrates, and the universe follows, always. Lesson 6, thought is a whisper, feeling is a command. Thoughts are soft murmurs. They knock politely on the door of the mind, waiting to be let in. They offer possibilities, what ifs, images, analysis, but they hold no true power until they are embodied. Feeling, feeling, is the king. Feeling is the frequency that writes the script of your reality in bold, unmistakable declarations. It does not knock, it sings. It rings the bell of manifestation. You may have wondered, why do my affirmations feel so weak? You say the right words, you think the right thoughts, but life remains unchanged. It is because thought whispers, but feeling commands. You are not asking the universe to obey your mind's reluctant suggestions. You are instructing it with the thunder of your emotional state. God does not respond to hopeful reasoning. God responds to resonance. You carry this power inside you, right now. It is humming beneath the static of your mind. The God frequency is not listening for cleverness. It is responding to coherence. Frequency, vibration, state. These are not just metaphysical terms. They are spiritual instruments, and your feelings are the strings. A thought like, "I will be rich one day," has no weight. It floats, it hovers. It exists in the land of maybe. There is no magnetic pull, there is no vibrational certainty. But a feeling, the embodied knowing of wealth now, has mass, movement, undeniable charge. It reverberates through your cells, your senses, your schedule. You begin to operate as the outcome. And so, you are no longer trying to manifest. You are simply being a frequency that must be obeyed. This is the difference between trying and transmitting. You can think abundance, you can say the words, script desires in your journal, even visualize. But if you do not feel the reality of what you want as already true, you are simply reciting wishes while vibrating lack. The quantum fields do not deal in logic, they mirror tone. They respond like water to sound, reflecting waves, not meanings. Feeling is not emotion alone. Emotions rise and fall like weather. Feeling is deeper. Feeling is embodiment. It is when your body, mind, and awareness all say yes. Yes, I have it. Yes, I am it. Yes, it is done. Without wavering, without waiting. The electromagnetic field of your heart is 5,000 times stronger than that of your brain. When you feel, you broadcast. And when you broadcast in alignment with your end, matter moves. There is a reason Neville said, "Feeling is the secret," not because it's poetic, but because it is the structural language of creation. Your nervous system is a transmitter, your heart is the dial, your assumptions, the playlist. Every fulfilled manifestation begins first with a saturation of feeling, a deep, conscious decision to dwell in the end until it becomes more familiar than any external condition. You let the feeling take over the mind. You let the state become your speech. And so, we begin to deliberately layer. We don't just affirm, "I am love, I am healed, I am wealthy." We feel it. We let it surge into the breath. We visualize the moment and then breathe life into it. Let it color your inner world until the thought is no longer an outsider, until it becomes you. Say it softly at first, "I am chosen." Then find the moment that would make that feeling real. Imagine your phone pinging with that opportunity, or a person looking at you, smiling in recognition. Let your shoulders relax. The tension is your resistance. Feel what it's like to live without needing to be convinced. You don't figure it out. You feel it out. Thought initiates. Feeling activates. Embodiment commands. Your reality is not waiting on divine permission. It is waiting on your alignment, your certainty that the unseen is more real than what you see now, that your frequency is not trying to catch up to the future. It's broadcasting it here. Now, boldly. Start small if you must. Imagine a warm cup of coffee that's already on your table. Close your eyes and feel the warmth in your hand. Taste it. Smell it. Notice how fully you can activate the senses with nothing but your inner signal. You've already done this 1,000 times unconsciously. This is not a new power. This is a directed remembering. When you stop begging with thoughts and start commanding with feeling, the God frequency responds. Because you are no longer asking as a stranger. You are speaking as the source. This is how the old you dissolves, not by force, but by frequency. You out-vibrate the version of you that hoped, and you become the version of you that knows. The signal has changed, and you are no longer whispering hopes to heaven. You are thundering truth through your being. I am is not a timid thought. It is a living current. Feel it. Become it. Command reality by dwelling in the fulfillment, not just imagining it as possible, but emitting it as real. Then watch as the world reconfigures, not because you asked, but because you always were. Lesson 7. The law of vibration is already obeying you. You are not waiting for a law to turn on. You're not sitting in some spiritual lobby until the universe decides to check your vibrational ID and let your manifestation through the door. The law of vibration is not in the future. It's not on hold. It's not waiting on your worthiness. It's alive. Now, functioning perfectly, right now, in this breath, in this thought, in this feeling. The law is not a switch you flip, it's a mirror you polish. It is always listening, always coursing, always responding. You're not turning it on, you're tuning yourself into what it already is. And this changes everything, because if a law is already in motion, then you're not trying to make it work. You're realizing how you've already been working it. You are not innocent in your vibration, you are powerful in it. Every mood, every thought you marinated in, every story you told yourself at night is part of the command you've been issuing. People say, "But I didn't mean to create this. I didn't ask for this." No, perhaps not with your words, but your frequency, your inner posture, your state, that was always broadcasting. And the law, kind as it is, obeys without judgment. It does not ask if your signal is fair. It simply echoes what you broadcast. To live in blame or confusion is to pretend the law has favorites. It does not. It has frequencies. You were never punished. You were never passed over. You were tuned. That's it. And the moment you realize this, not merely understand it, but feel it in your bones, the weight drops. Because now you've found the lever. You are no longer asking, "Will it work for me?" You are asking, "What am I embodying?" You do not become magnetic by effort. You become magnetic by resonance. And resonance is not wishful thinking. It's inner consistency. Your thoughts become prayers by way of feeling, and your feelings become commands by repetition. Not external repetition, internal familiarity. Heaven operates on alignment, not striving. Ask yourself, am I thinking about the thing I want, or am I becoming the being who has already received it? These are two entirely different vibrations. Wanting feels like pretending. Being feels like remembering. Wanting says, maybe one day. Being says, it's already done. And let me tell you, the law bends to the frequency of the latter. You don't need to chase the outcome. The law is wired to return to you whatever you most frequently feel to be true, not whatever you beg for, not whatever you script once every morning, but what you consistently feel is real, even in silence, even in doubt. And when you stop lying to yourself about the power you've always had, you shift from victim to vessel. So here's the sacred question. What have I been emitting? If you slow down, not your mind, but your inner stance, you'll hear it. The frequency of fear has a different rhythm than the frequency of fulfillment. One is sharp and searching, the other is soft and certain, and your life, like a mirror, has been reflecting this music back to you, not to punish you, not to shame you, but to teach you which frequency you live from most. No more pretending not to know. You know. You can feel it. Every time you say one thing and feel another, you generate static. Every time you declare abundance but secretly brace for insufficiency, the law responds not to your declaration, but to your vibration. This sacred law cannot be manipulated, but it can be partnered with. And the way you partner is not through force, but through surrender. Not the surrender of weakness, the surrender of identity. You stop striving to change the outer, and you begin embodying the inner. Because when the inner is right, the outer can only echo agreement. That's the law. That's the symphony. Nothing else even makes sense. The moment you stop trying to make the universe listen and realize it's been listening this whole time, the game changes. You become precise, intentional, aware. You conduct the electricity of God on purpose. You stop asking, will it work? And begin living in the knowing. It's already working. Reality isn't broken. My signal has just been scattered, and so now you gather your frequency home. Not perfectly, but sincerely. You breathe into the end result. You exhale the timeline. You claim the identity again and again and again, until it no longer feels like pretending. It feels like returning. The law of vibration is already obeying you. The question isn't whether it's working. It's whether you're willing to become the frequency of what you've been asking for. The moment you do, nothing is withheld, nothing is delayed, reality aligns, not because you fought for it, but because you stopped arguing against it. Let the law work as it was designed to, align, embody, emanate, and it must be so. Lesson 8. Reality is a mirror, not a master. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing in front of a mirror. Whatever expression you hold, the mirror reflects. Smile, it smiles back. Frown, and it matches your energy instantly. Now, imagine arguing with the mirror, trying to convince it to change its reflection before you change your face. That is how most people live, demanding their outer reality shift before they claim the inner state. But reality is not your master. It does not lead. It does not decide. It does not withhold. It reflects. This physical world, this playground of form and circumstance, is not something that happens to you. It is happening through you, by you, and most importantly, as you. Your outer world is the echo of your inner tone, the face of your frequency. It carries no authority of its own, only allegiance. It bows to the signal you emit, every moment, every breath, not in thought alone, but in state, in being. Most people chase reality like it's a runaway train. They try to chase success, happiness, love, as if these are rare treasures hidden in some distant future. But in chasing, you broadcast lack. And the mirror hears not your words, but your frequency. It cannot reflect abundance if you vibrate with the tone of seeking. It cannot mirror love if you are tuned to loneliness. Your outer world is not ignoring you. It is obeying you. There are no delays in the divine, only alignment or misalignment. If a manifestation seems slow, it is not because the universe holds it back like a reward earned through perfection. It is because your mirror is faithfully reflecting the vibration you still carry. You are never waiting on physical conditions. You are simply waiting to remember who you are. This world is not testing you. It is teaming up with you. You were born with the sacred power to impress upon the mirror of reality. But you were also born into a world that taught you to fear your reflection. It told you outer circumstances are stronger than inner knowing. It told you to obey form. But remember this: a mirror has no will. It does not think. It does not choose. It reflects whatever stands before it. This is your world, your relationships, your bank account, your health, your opportunities, your timing. They are not lords over you. They are servants to your state. The world changes because you changed, not 1 minute before. Feeling is your creative brushstroke on the mirror's glass. When you feel wealthy, the world rearranges to reflect prosperity. When you feel chosen, the mirror begins to display acceptance, celebration, and deep connection. When you feel well in body, not from symptom, but from state, your physical form responds to your signal. It does not argue, it reflects. Manifestation in truth is not about forcing matter into shape. It is not manipulating or controlling outcomes. It is becoming the frequency of the end, now. Not waiting until the money shows up to feel secure. Not postponing joy until someone chooses you. Feel it now, because your mirror does not lead you into that state. It follows you there. Every problem is not a punishment. It is a printout of past frequency. That is all. A mirror image. But here's the power. The moment you shift from identifying with circumstance to understanding your creative center, you unplug from illusion. You divorce the idea that the world has power over you. Confidence returns, trust rises, clarity emerges, not by hard work, but by remembrance. You are the one who chooses the reflection by being it first. There is no need to fight what is seen. You cannot argue with an image to change it. You must shift the source. And the source is your frequency. The cause is your inner state of being. If you don't like the outer image, you don't fix the mirror. You calibrate the signal. You drop deeper into the end state. You feel as if it were already done, already given, already you. This is the reversal that frees enslaved minds. You do not respond to the world. The world responds to you. You are not conditioned by the mirror. The mirror is conditioned by you. So when fear rises or doubt runs through your body, don't cast the blame outward. Speak inwardly. This is my classroom. This is my creation. And it does not define me. It delivers me. Let today be the moment you stop waiting for the world to validate your new identity. That's not how it works. The world cannot deliver before you become the one who already knows. And when you do, meaning when you feel it, rest in it, breathe from it, then reality moves. The mirror reflects. The outer begins to shimmer with the shape of your new inner. You are the signal. You are the source. Speak the frequency, feel it, and the reflection cannot help but follow. Lesson 9, the power of inner repetition. Speak until it becomes. Creation never stops speaking. The question is, whose voice are you hearing most? The voice of the world or the voice of I am within you? Reality is not built by shouting. It is sculpted in reverent repetition, not desperate affirmations thrown at the air, but divine reminders whispered into the soul until the soul remembers, yes, this is who I truly am. Inner repetition is not about convincing the universe. The universe does not need convincing. It is already obeying you. It is about tuning your frequency consistently, again and again, until the signal becomes clear and strong, until there is no longer a gap between what you say and what you feel, until the words fuse with identity, until the inner voice becomes flesh. There are no unwanted manifestations, only repeated inner agreements with an old self-image. If your outer world keeps echoing limitation, struggle, delay, it is not to punish you. It is to show you your current broadcast. The mirror cannot lie, but once you see it, you can change it, not by wrestling with the image, but by returning to the source of the signal. Inner repetition is creation. It is not passive. It is not begging. It is the sacred act of staking your claim, not from the mind, not from the mouth, but from being. You speak not to ask, but to assume. You don't say, I hope I will be. You say, I am. That is the key, not a wish, a knowing, a declaration from the mountaintop of identity. When you repeat something long enough, not with effort, but with reverence, you shed the version of you that used to doubt it. You can almost feel that old self dissolving, like fog lifting. Every I am is a chisel to your reality. With consistent inner speech, you are carving out the version of you who already lives where you're headed. It's not magic, it's divine mechanics. Consciousness speaks the word, and vibration delivers it like an arrow. That is why you don't need to yell it to the universe. You only need to feel it as true. Speak the end, but more importantly, feel the end until it becomes normal to you. What would happen if you started speaking as the person who already has what they now desire? What would shift if your inner narration was not asking, not striving, not explaining, but simply declaring, I am the one who receives with ease. I am the embodiment of wealth. I am love felt, not lost. You speak these not for the world to hear, but for your own signal to steady itself. The outer world hears you eventually, but your inner world must hear you first. Because words soaked in assumption vibrate differently than words soaked in hope. Hope wavers, knowing commands. Repetition is not about the number of times you say it, but the certainty you weave into it each time. 3 words spoken in surrender will carry more power than 3,000 spoken in fear. The feeling is the fire behind the phrase. The frequency is what speaks, not the mouth. There is a moment when your repetition no longer feels like practice. It becomes natural. Habituation of identity. You forget you're trying to believe. You simply do. That's when the shift has taken root. That's when the subconscious has received the signal. That's when reality must follow. Because creation is obedient, not to guessing, but to knowing. When you rehearse the fulfilled self often and softly, life begins to mirror that fulfillment with sacred precision. The path aligns, people appear, conditions reorder, not because something outside of you changed first, but because you did. Your state changed, your tone changed, and the tone trains the tune of your life. Don't underestimate the power of speaking to yourself in the language of your end. Reality is clay, waiting for word and feeling to mold it. Every assumption becomes structure. Every inner speech becomes scaffolding for your next manifested scene. So speak from the end. Declare as though it's already yours. Make your I am statements not hollow filler, but wholly encoding. Let them bathe your mind. Let them echo into your shoulders, your chest, your breath. Say it once in the mirror, then say it in silence 10 more times until your cells recognize it. And when the old thoughts return, because they will, meet them not as enemies, but as echoes, outdated signals that no longer fit your frequency. You don't need to fight them. Just keep building the new signal until it drowns them out. Speak until it becomes. You are not trying to become more powerful. You are remembering that power was already speaking through you. It was just waiting for you to say yes again and again. until it could take form. Repetition is love, repetition is devotion, repetition is resonance, and resonance is creation. Speak it, feel it, become it, over and over, until reality finally bows and says, yes, this is who you are now. Lesson 10, desire is not lack. It's a divine instruction. Desire is sacred, not the desperate craving, not the reaching from empty hands, not the ache that says, I don't have it yet. That's not desire, that is distortion. True desire isn't born from absence. It's not a signal of what's missing. It's the whisper of what's already yours, calling you home. What we've been taught about desire is backwards. We've been told it's dangerous, selfish, or delusional, that to have a desire is to admit lack, to confess you don't yet have something, and therefore are distant from God. But in truth, desire is the voice of God inside you, nudging you toward alignment, toward your next form of expression. It's how the divine self speaks through the veil of form. Desire is not a flaw to fix. It is a frequency to follow. Think about it. The desires that truly captivate you, the ones you can't shake off no matter how hard you try, they don't come from the ego. They are not fantasies plucked out of thin air. They are remembering. You feel them because, at some level, they have already happened. And what you call a desire is simply the echo of that vibration returning to its source, you. That's why you can't get away from it. That's why when you try to settle or be realistic, it doesn't satisfy you, because it's not something you're randomly choosing. It's something you're innately meant to fulfill. It's the self remembering itself before the world told you to be smaller. Desire is not something to fight. It's the direction your frequency is trying to point toward. Now, listen closely, because here is the key. Desire must be felt as fulfillment, not as waiting. If you want something and feel the absence of it, you are not tuned to the thing. You are tuned to the lack of the thing, and the God frequency cannot inhabit a signal that denies itself. Desire must be honored as already complete. That's the secret. When you hear the whisper of what you want, affirm quietly in your heart, I am already the one who has this. Not someday, not if you're good, now, because desire is not pulling you toward a goal, it's awakening you to a deeper identity. The car, the house, the love, the impact, they are symbols. Beautiful ones, yes, but they are just reflections of the state of being that is calling you closer. Truly, you never want the thing. You want the frequency of the one who has it, because that frequency is you. Don't worship the desire, remember the identity. When you long for abundance, that's the God frequency nudging you back toward your natural state of supply, of multiplication, of sufficiency. When you ache for love, that's not a cry for someone else to complete you. That is your own heart asking for recognition of the love you already carry. When you dream of freedom, success, expansion, you are not wrong, greedy, or high-minded. You are broadcasting truth. Desire is a divine instruction, not a request, a command, not a question. That's why wishing and hoping don't work. They are frequencies of distance. I hope it happens is not tuned to God. It's tuned to, it's not here yet. The moment you shift into, this desire was placed in me by God, therefore, it is mine now, the entire field rearranges. This is not ego, this is authority. Big difference. Ego says, look what I can get if I try hard enough. Authority says, this has already been spoken into existence, and I am the instrument that delivers it. One is effort. The other is embodiment. The power lies in claiming the desire as your divine permission slip to become, not chase, to become. Because yes, the moment you become it, it appears. Not as magic, as alignment. You did not create your desire, you received it. You did not invent your dreams, you tuned into them. And that means the self already knows how to fulfill them. Not in the future, in this moment, as you align with the feeling, identity, and knowing of the one who already is. So the next time something lights you up, a vision, a dream, a life you've only let yourself touch in brief glimmers, do not shrink, do not question. Step into the quietest place within and say, I would not feel this if it weren't already mine. This is not fantasy, this is fact. I am receiving the call, and I answer it. Now. Because when you tune your desire into fulfillment, when you become the one who already is, desire is no longer something you hope works. It is the God frequency speaking in first person. Let it be. And so it is. Lesson 11. Living as the transmitter, not the receiver. You were never designed to sit back and wait for your life to change. You were born broadcasting. Since the beginning, your very being has been a signal, a transmitter, not a passive receiver scanning the heavens for favor. The truth is, so many spend their lives reaching out, asking, begging, affirming, and chasing, because they've forgotten that the power is not out there at all. It's not in the future. It's not in the bank account. It's not in someone else's yes. It's in your broadcast, right now. The secret is frequency, and frequency comes from identity. This universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. And what you are is constantly being communicated through everything: your emotions, assumptions, inner talk, body language, and most deeply, your feeling of being. This isn't about controlling the outer world. It's about recognizing that you are the center of the signal that shapes it. You've probably tried to attract things. You visualized. You said the affirmations. You worked on your mindset. But all of that comes second to one eternal principle. You were already creating through how you were being. Even when you didn't know it, you were broadcasting a signal even when you were silent. You don't manifest through words spoken to the sky. You manifest through the frequency announced in your presence. To live as the transmitter means to abandon the wait. There is no coming soon. There is no someday. There is only now, and you in it. The version of you who already has it, who already is it, is not elsewhere. It's here, cloaked in your next breath, waiting to be turned on. Every second you rise into that version, the broadcast sharpens. The static dissolves, the frequency tightens like a beam of light, piercing through illusion, noise, and delay. Most people don't get this because they're still negotiating with reality. They react, they wait for signs, they monitor responses. But when you live as the transmitter, you no longer ask for evidence. You become it. You don't look for proof in the 3D world. You generate it, over and over from within. You become unmoved by appearances because you know appearances are echoes, not causes. And echoes cannot change their source. Only the source can change the sound. This is the shift from seeker to signal. It's not a mental affirmation, it's a cellular knowing. You walk into the room and carry wealth. You breathe and project love. You speak and the air vibrates with certainty. You think and the thought has heat behind it. Not because you're trying to manifest, but because you know you already did. God does not wish. God does not wait. And if the same spirit that formed the galaxies lives in you, then why are you negotiating your worth in whispers? You're not here to build from the outside in. You are here to radiate world after world from the inside out. The moment you assume that power, the moment you declare I am and feel it, the walls you thought were real dissolve, because they were never obstacles. They were just mismatches in vibration. Your only job now is to feel forward. Speak as if it is already so. Think from the frequency of fulfillment, not from the noise of lack. Don't just imagine it. Become the one who it's already done for. Let the energy of already be your baseline. Make your inner climate the headquarters of miracles. The more consistent your frequency, the faster the world conforms. Not because you earned it, but because you stopped contradicting it. Doubt is a wobble in your signal. Hope is a weaker frequency than knowing. So shift. Drink the sensation of being it until it saturates you. That's alignment. That's transmission. No more waiting for permission. No more watching for signs. You are the signal. Widen it, strengthen it, beam it like the sun. The world can only reflect what you broadcast. So, stop begging life to change and start living from the version of you who is already changed. You are the source. You are the sender. You are the frequency. Live like it. Lesson 12. Stay tuned, holding the frequency until it becomes flesh. When you first hear the God frequency, it's like catching the scent of something sacred on the wind. Subtle, yet undeniable. You didn't make it. You remembered it. You didn't force it. You freed it. That soft hum of divinity within you isn't weak. It's eternal. But here's the truth. It's not enough to hear it once. You must stay tuned. This is where most turn back. They glimpse the mountain but doubt they can reach the peak. They feel the frequency of I am for a moment, then let the static come rushing back in, scrolling, doubting, trying, waiting. Don't tune in and tune out. Don't pick up the God frequency like a tourist just passing through. Stay. Stay in the vibration long enough for the invisible to harden into form. Because it will. That is law. That is the rhythm of creation. The universe has always been waiting for you to hold your being steady, not as effort, but as identity. To remain as the fulfillment of your desire without flinching, without checking reality for proof, without measuring the time it's taking, without speaking doubt into your own atmosphere. What if you dared to stay in the knowing that your wish, your prayer, your vision is already finished, not becoming, not arriving, not maybe, but already yours in the field of the unseen? You wouldn't ask anymore. You'd move different. You'd speak different. You'd breathe like someone who already holds it in their hands. Because you do. The moment the frequency is felt, it's done. But the echo chamber of the physical world will test your loyalty to the unseen. It will whisper delays. It will present empty appearances. Do not be deceived. That is the inertia of the old self trying to hold you in a lower dimension. And if you interpret the silence as failure, the wait as absence, you fall out of frequency. You distort the signal. You let the old world keep repeating itself, even though the new world was already yours. When you received the vision, when you felt the fulfilled version of you light up like home in your own heart, the frequency was sent. You are not waiting on it. It's waiting on you to match it, hold it, live it. The final act of manifestation is not asking. It is remaining. Remaining in vibration long enough for the world to catch up. You can't live in doubt and manifest certainty. You can't speak as the unworthy and expect the worthy life. Your job is not to hustle reality into obedience. Your job is to become the vibration so steadily that it must obey. Reality simply mirrors the one who holds their frequency with the most conviction. Stay tuned. This is what the mystics meant when they said faith, not belief in a doctrine, but persistent fidelity to the unseen. Faith is not something you work up emotionally. It's a knowing you rest in, unshaken by appearances. It is inner stability, spiritual poise. It is holding your frequency like a divine instrument, tuned to the sound of already done. You are not conjuring a miracle. You are stabilizing your God tone long enough for a miracle to reflect you. Because what is a miracle really? It's the outer world catching up to the signal you've been broadcasting in silence. As you stay tuned, you'll start to notice something. The waiting dissolves, the anxiety lifts. Because you've crossed an invisible line from seeking to being. You stop needing signs because you've become one. Doorways open because your frequency is the key. People shift because they are responding to the new signal of self that you radiate without apology. Hold it, not out of effort, but out of love. Not from fear of lack, but out of clarity of truth. Hold it like breath. Hold it like light. Hold it like you've already seen the end, and you know how it turns out. Glorious, inevitable, divine. You are not manifesting things. You are embodying a state. You are not doing vibration. You are becoming it. The rest is echo. This is your invitation to remain in the signal, to live as the transmission, and walk as the word made flesh. Because when you stay tuned, the world tunes to you.